All right, so we just got done doing chapter 2. We're going to start chapter 3. Chapter 3 is on percentages. Percents or percentages. Looks like my black pen's dying too. How about that? So percent is an abbreviation for, or not abbreviation, is putting two words together, per and cent. In fact, it's very much related to the same way we know the penny. A single cent. 1 cent is 1/100th of a dollar. Century means 100. So somewhere in Latin or whatever language, I think it's got to be Latin. Cent or some variation of cent means 100. So percent means parts per 100. It is a cent sign, right? Can't remember the last
Yes,
time I
it
wrote a
is.
cent
Yeah.
sign, so it looks funny.
It did look funny,
Doesn't
and then I did it, and I was like, no, that's it.
So like this is 1 cent. Is 1 part per 100. And that's like part per often means put the what follows in the bottom of a fraction. And we just got done showing how to do that. We move the decimal left twice. And that's where we get the whole 2 decimals. Or 2 decimal places when we're talking about money. So parts per 100, or another way of looking at it, percent is out of 100. And like if I have 100% of a Snicker bar, like talking, let's say I have a Snickers bar. I have 100% because I haven't eaten any of it yet. I also have the whole bar. I got 1 bar. %100 translates to 1.
I'm sorry, what were you
What
saying?
100% translates to 1.
Right,
You have the whole thing.
right.
If I only have 1/3 of the bar, like I ate 2/3 of it, if I have 1/3 of the bar, how do I write that as a percent?
75. Right.
You're just guessing here. That was way too fast. It was wrong. Then that's how I know it was a guess. So one way is to, I know it's parts per 100, so to go the other way, I can multiply by 100. Multiply, like if I multiply this by 100, I can say that's 100%. Let's do this here. I'm going to take the 1/3 and I'll multiply by 100. That's like 100 over 1, which is 100 over 3. this is gonna get me to 33.3. And the 3 gets repeated, and we only do the repetition bar after a decimal point. I don't put the repetition bar in the 33 part. And this will be percent. Another way you can do it is convert to decimal first. Multiply it by 100 now. And where division, move the decimal point left. When you divide by 100, move it left 2 times. Multiplying by 100 just moves the decimal right 2 times. So 0.33 goes to 33.33%. In fact, if you only are, if you're talking about percentages of something and you write it as a decimal, it should always be less than 1. Unless the percentage is higher than 100. So if I've got 74%, when I write it as it's less than 100, when I write it as a decimal, it should be less than 1. Less than 1 means it starts with a 0. When you go to the percentage to decimal, divide by 100. And decimal to percent is multiplied by 100. The shortcut for it is for division, the decimal point goes left 2 times. And if I'm multiplying, the decimal point goes right 2 times. So the 74%, I'm going percent to the decimal, I'm dividing by 100, or I'm going to move the decimal point left 2 times. If I don't see a decimal, I put it at the end of the numbers and I move it left 2 times, and I get 0.74. if you want to go from to a decimal or a percentage to a fraction. Just put the percent above 100. And drop the percent sign. So if I did that up here, I had 74%. I'm going to put 74 over 100 and not put the percent sign.
You oftentimes see a question and it says, answer as a fraction or a decimal.
And if that's the case, they want either value, they'll accept
They
either value.
want you to do either one, they're like, either one will be acceptable for this, I think we saw that. In the moment. But, I'm always more comfortable with decimal,
Most people are.
so. I can't do it in a fraction, but my mind doesn't work quite like that. And I see the numbers versus parts, I guess.
If you get semi-comfortable with basic fraction stuff, you can be faster at a lot of things that are fractions. Like if you had 1/3 of 6, as we're about to do, we're doing problems where it like has stuff where we're switching to a decimal, like word problems with it. 1/3 of 6 is like 1/3 times 6. Now, to put it in the calculator, it's going to take you longer, but if 1/3 times 6, just put the 6 on top, 6 over 3 is 2. So there's some things when you're comfortable with that are faster. So let's give you guys some practice here. I'm going to have a percent column, a decimal column, a fraction column, and I'll give you guys some in each thing, and you got to fill in the blanks for the other ones. So let me give you 42.3%. Let's kick it up a notch. Let's make it so it's not divided by 100 there. Maybe it's 1 more minute, then we'll get started up. All right, so let's just look at the percentage. If I want to go to a decimal, I can move the decimal point left 2 times. So this becomes 0.423. And for fractions, switching to a fraction, I don't want to do the percent to fraction just by putting it over 100 right now, because I have more than 2 decimal or more than 2 numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this one and build off of this, and we'll do what we did before. Count the decimal places, there's 3 of them, and put that many zeros after a 1 on bottom, and make this 423. For the next one, going from decimal to percent, I'm multiplying by 100, or I move the decimal point to the right twice. If I move it to the right twice, I just get 15 and I slap on the percent. And now either way I can do it. I can count the decimals here, or since there's only 2 numbers, I can take the number and put it over 100. This will simplify. So let's just point that one out real quick. I'm certain this one simplifies. I don't think 423 does, but I don't want to look at it. 15 is 3 times 5. And 100 is like 20 times 5, like having 5 $20 bills is $100. The 5s will cancel, and so this can also be written as 3 over 20. And the homework is probably going to want you to do that, but I'm not certain since I haven't done the problem. They might take 15 over 100. Okay, so on 21 over 100, this is like the 15 over 100. Since I'm over 100, I can say jump to the percent by just dropping it. But I think It might be easier if I do the decimal thing first. Switching to a decimal, I've got 2 zeros, so I'm going to move the decimal point left twice and I'll get 0.21. And if I want to go to the percentage, I move the decimal point back to the right 2, and I just put the percent. So notice that the percentage matches up with the numerator if the bottom is 100. 21 over 100 and 21%. So on the 127%, I move the decimal points at the end, I move it left twice, and I get 1.27. Now, I told you percentages going to a decimal shouldn't be higher than 1 unless the percentage is over 100. And that matches up here, it's over 100. In terms of a percent or writing this as a fraction, I can either leave the 1 alone and just do the 0.27. This is 1 plus 0.27. Do the 27 over 100. Or I can do the whole thing and move the decimal to the point to the right twice and put it over 100. 127 over 100. Yeah,
Let's say if we get a question like that in the book where I want it as 1 over 27 or 1 and 27 over 100 or well 100 over or the 127 over 100.
what do you mean? How will you know?
Yeah, what I want is what I wanted.
They might say write it as a mixed number. This is a mixed number.
Yeah.
They might say treat it as an improper fraction. They should be specific in what they say. If they're not, it should take either.
The homework's pretty specific. And if it doesn't, like, if you have the wrong answer and you're thinking of the computer, it's on its own. But then if you say, show me, it'll show you.
You should also, like when you're doing homework, if you accidentally hit the space bar, like if you have 1 over, if you did 1 fraction bar 3 and then hit space, space, even though your eye can't see it, the computer's registering it as a character. So check for spaces. Like 0.3 and 0.3 space are 2 different things to the computer. Just because your eye doesn't recognize it, the computer has to keep track of it. So it might not, hopefully it doesn't do that. Hopefully it knows to drop spaces at the end. But if it's not, just look for spaces. On this one, if I want to go to the percentage, I move the decimal to the right twice. If I do that, I get 200.7. %. And if I want to go to a fraction, I count the zeros or decimal places, there's 3. I can put this over 1,000 and put the number on top without the decimal. Or like I was saying earlier, you can do the mixed number and have 2 with 7 over 1,000. It's really 007, but when I have the zeros in front, in this case, I wouldn't write them unless I wanted that James Bond look. And the last one can be tricky, but if you're using a calculator, it's not too bad. You could just do 4 divided by 50. and jump straight to it. Another thing I can recognize, if you don't want to do that and you like want to learn something that might go quicker. Hopefully everyone's comfortable with 50 times 2 is 100. So if I multiply this by 2 over 2, I get 4 times 2 on top, 50 times 2 on bottom. I get 8 over 100. The 8 over 100 is just 8%. And 8% is the decimal of 0.08, which you would have got if you did division using calculator.
So if you did the division of 50 divided by 4, which is what I did, I got 12.5 as the
You
decimal.
did it the wrong way. This is 4 divided by 50, not 50 divided by 4. This is,
Is it 50 divided by 4?
you did
Is that what
50
I
divided by 4, it's 4 divided by 50. These are two different things. The 4 over 50 is that one. This is 50 over 4.
Oh, whoops.
That's a good check. Hold on, now this is good shit. This gets you 12.5, right?
Yep,
And this is 0.08.
right.
You know 4 over 50 is less than 1. Right? The number on top is smaller than the number on bottom. The number on top is smaller than the number on bottom. It's less than 1. Which means if I convert it to a decimal, it should be less than 1. Which means if you did 4 divided by 50 and got 12.5, treat that as a red flag. I should not have a number that's bigger than 1. Especially if you converted it to a percent.
Which I did not,
Okay.
because I was throwing, because of what I had, I was like, wait a minute.
All right, you guys ready for more? Let's talk about, oh God, I hate the way they do it. I'm going to show you what they do. They got a nice circle. And they say part or portion up here. In both cases, a P. And then which one did they put on the left? I think they put rate on the left and base on the right. I learned this as the is of percent triangle. But there are problems where this is more applicable or easier to use. And how it works is each of these have 3 components, and you will almost always have 2 of them. So 3 things on both of these. There, and there. Here I've got of, percent, or is. You will have 2 of the 3, and you have to find the third.
Is it gonna be like 35 is what percent?
All right, so now that y'all have written down, so the way it works is whatever 2 I have, I'm gonna write all 3, showing all variants of it. The circle's the same way. If I have this one and this one, or this one and this one, both of these are, the answer is A divided by B. Or A over B. What we're doing is we're treating that line of the triangle as a fraction bar. So this becomes the fraction bar. If I have the bottom two, these kind of act like percentages. And that becomes A times B. And what are some examples I can, let's do some examples with this. What is 22% of 300? So the percent thing is the percent thing in my triangle. And I'm gonna write it as a decimal. This is the 0.22 in the percent thing. $300 has of next to it. So it's gonna go in the of box. Maybe I should rewrite that triangle here so you can see it. Is of percent. It will go in the of box. So the is up here is the thing I don't know. What is? So to find it, I can do 300 times 0.22. And if you throw that in a calculator, you should get 66.
That's the tricky part, is just remembering to turn that 42 because that.
Other than that, it's addition or multiplication or division. Now, you can estimate this stuff and find out if it's reasonable.
So if it was a fraction, would it be 66 over 300 or?
No, 66 over 300 is. Oh, wait, as a decimal, as a person, yeah, that would turn into 0.22. 66 over 300 would turn into 0.22. So we'll continue with the is of triangle thing. I just want to point out how you can estimate with percentages involved. Because this is probably the most useful thing you'll take in this percentage section. Everything else is calculator work. If I do 10% of the number, just chop off the last digit. And I got that not in the decimal. That's important. So like 10% of 300. I'm gonna lop off that last number and it's 30. If you do 1%. It's chop off last two. So 1% of 300. I chopped the zeros and I got 3. Now, I probably wouldn't do the whole thing like just to estimate the 22%. I would probably just estimate 20%. If my 20% answer is close to the actual thing I got on the calculator, I did the calculator right. So how can that work here? I could go, well, 22% is pretty close to 20%. And 20% is just 2 times 10%. And so I got 300. I lop off the last number. This is 30. 2 times 30 is 60. If my answer is near 60, I'm feeling pretty safe, pretty comfortable. What's sales tax nowadays?
8.5 in many situations.
$120.
Remember when it was 6%? What's the sales tax? 6.
I'm going to start with estimating and then do the calculator and go that way. If I were to estimate this, I would say 8.5 is pretty close to 10. It's close to 10. So I've got 120 and I lop off the last number and I get 12. But 8.5 is less than 10. So my number should be less than 12. Whatever I get should be less than 12. And now I do my triangle. Again, the is the what. And I've got 120 and writing that as a decimal is 0.085. And I get 10.2. Which is less than 12, right? But not a shitload less than 12. It's only like 1. One's way too low. So 10.2 looks reasonable. I don't think I fucked up my calculator work. Let's do some more. Uh, 55 is what percent of 220? I didn't write the percent sign, I just said it. 55 is what percent of 220? So my of has the 220 next to it. I'll put that in the of spot, which is on the bottom on the left. And my is next to the 55, and that's gonna go on top. So my percentage is the question mark.
Do we have to turn the 55 into decimal?
No. Just the percentage is shipped to a decimal. To do the calculation, when we're going to the. Let's finish working out, you see where it's going. So, this looks like a fraction. So my question mark is 55 over 220. This should be 1/4, which is 0.25. So my 0.25 is the number I get, but that's not the percentage. Now I gotta shift it to a percentage. Writing this as a percentage, we move the decimal to the right twice and we get 25%. You knew there was some movement involved. That decimal point was going somewhere. Let me give you guys one. 13 is what percent of 104? Beginning sections always take a little bit longer than I think they're gonna take in my head. And I don't want to rush it. Like, we gotta do some word problems in this section. So we're gonna be hitting chapter 3 again on next week, which is when I wanted to do chapter 4, which means chapter 4 is gonna get broken up too. That's okay, I'll have to revise my syllabus. And look way
That's
ahead,
what you wanted to do.
look way ahead and see what I can actually chop, which is gonna take less time.
Are we gonna finish up the meetings?
No, we won't finish it. We will
We
hit.
have to take the quiz by.
Like I said, I will revise stuff. I will revise stuff.
But we still need to take today's quiz. This
I'm
quiz
talking
is
chapter two.
due today.
What's due today?
One quiz.
Chapter 1, right?
Chapter one quiz.
Yeah, we were done with chapter 1 last week.
No, I'm talking chapter 2.
Chapter 3 and 2 and 3 is next week. Only chapter 2 will be, I'll revise chapter 3's date. Chapter 2 will be due next week. Because we're not finishing 3 yet.
Okay, so on the 8th, we'll be following the syllabus for that for 2 and 3,
Just 2.
just 2.
Because we're not going to finish 3 today, so I don't want to make the homework due next Wednesday. When I have to finish the lecture on 3 on Monday, and that only gives you 2 days to do the homework. And I'm not about that. I like giving a week. So I will revise homework dates as necessary as we go along.
But we still, just because I didn't do quiz number 1 yet, I need to complete that.
Yeah,
Okay, got it. Because my homework is done, but I just need to do the quiz. Do you know how long the quiz is? I didn't want to open it and look at it.
45 minutes, 12 questions.
Oh, it's just 12 questions, okay,
So how long it takes you to do 12 questions?
okay, yeah, because it was 48 questions was the.
Oh, yeah, homework a lot longer than
Yeah,
that.
homework was longer.
All right, I'm hoping you guys did the little thing and got. Or whether you use the triangle or not, I like the triangle, it helps me see what I'm doing.
Yeah,
13 goes in the is spot. 104 goes in the of spot. I don't know what the percentage is, so that's what I'm looking for. I've got 13 divided by 104. I think that's 0.125.
Yeah.
You guys get that?
yeah,
Okay, good. I set it up the way I wanted to.
yeah, I like the triangle, I've never seen that before. That was
I bet it's mild.
I was
You guys like the
doing it a
triangle?
different way.
And if I move the decimal right twice, it's 12.5%. Now. On the homework, I don't know what they're gonna do, but I know homework is notorious for this shit. Computerized homework. If they ask you what the percentage is. And they're gonna give you a box. If the box has nothing in it. Or nothing around it, put 12.5 and put the percent. Theoretically. Sometimes they'll do like. What percent, and they'll have that. They've already got the percent sign listed for you, so you don't write that. So if you run it, I don't know if the homework has that problem or not. So if it does, be aware of that when you're starting chapter 3.
Yeah.
Let's do 15 is 40% of what? Try that one. I'll look at it when I get home, I'll tell you. So on my triangle. My 15 goes in the is spot. I don't know the of. 40% is going to go in as 0.40. So my of is going to be 15 divided by 0.4 or 0.40. I don't know what that is offhand. Only some of these I can be straight out the gate. I'm guessing 37.5 is your guess.
That's right.
Ah, look at that.
Divided 15 with 40 when the decimal twice. I don't like it.
What?
I divided 15 with 40, but for some reason I moved the decimal twice and I got to some from.
That's one way you could do it. Do the decimal afterwards. So if you did, this should be 37.5. If you move the decimal right twice to do the division.
That's how it was.
Wait,
Zero.
you're right. What did you get when you did it?
I got that and then I moved the decimal twice. Or. I moved it, I got it.
I got the 0.375, don't you got?
Yeah, it should have been. Now you guys are fucking with me. Now I got.
No,
Get the 0.375. Move this.
Oh, yeah, so you did 15 over 40, you would get 0.375. You have to compensate for it. So what you did was multiply by 100, then you got it. You gotta shift it back. That looks, don't do that. That's confusing.
did that make it to 38%?
It's not a percent,
Oh, because it's 40%, I'm sorry.
it's just that. So it should just be 37.1. It was worth a try. I'm sure I could find a way to explain it, but it's better off just not doing that. Be aware of the decimal.
The homework that we did, was it related to what we said? I did chapter one.
I started chapter 2, but I only, I got stuck on like a question.
Okay,
Let's do one more like that,
because it
since that
was,
was challenging.
it was not what I expected, it wasn't what we were looking for. I only missed 4, but. It was- Yeah, we did.
I believe you're drinking coffee back there at 6 p.m.
Oh, no, no, no.
I learned eventually, I don't know how many fucking nights I slept for 2 hours and tossed and turned for the rest of the night. I learned if I keep drinking caffeine after like 3, I'm fucked. I'm not gonna sleep well that night. Be back there at 6 o'clock. I swear to God, your 4 fingernail changed color. It was not red earlier. Was it? Okay. Maybe I just saw it at a different angle and didn't look red earlier. I'm like, I don't remember it being red. So, lost a raptor back there. Freddy Krueger, that shit. So the percent, I'm gonna put here, but I'm gonna write it as a decimal, so 0.32. The is has got a 23 with it, so it goes on top. So my of is the question mark. And it's 23 divided by 0.32. And I got 71.875. And I think all I'm gonna be able to do is get started on word problem, so maybe we should wrap it there. Call it a wrap.
Yeah, it's fine.
So you're free to go. I will be at Starbucks
That's what I was gonna ask.
at Caldwell and Demery on Sunday at 8 a.m.
I'll be there.
till 11.
Yeah, I'm planning on it, I just.
I'll be there.
Email me. Email me to remind me, that way I know how many people are coming, I know how many chairs to grab.
Do you want email or do you want a text?
That'll work, that works to me.
Okay.
Melissa's like, I got my teacher's cell phone number, I'm gonna blow that shit up.
No. I sent you that message today. I sent it at 9:30.
I'm gonna blow that shit. I didn't think blow it up at the wrong time.
No.
How many messages have I got from Melissa?
Two.
Let's see. Is that it?
Well, I sent you the one when I got the code. I said it came before I had to go to the bookstore. So maybe three.
1, 2,
Or
3,
did I?
4.
But I
Okay,
can
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
No,
7.
stop it.
I'm counting the right
Not new
boxes.
ones, not new
Now,
ones,
some of them are just thank you, like you guys responded and you said thank you.
because I.
But it's still a
Because
message.
that's how I roll.
It's how I roll.
They do.
I roll just like that horse and buggy that I grew up with,
Hey, thank you, never was that style,
right?
never. And please,